All right, we're going to continue talking about domain and range. I've been trying to break it up into small chunks. This time, though, we're going to talk about reasonableness. And I'm going to use this to help us out. Just a quick review, though. The domain, all the possible values of x. Range, all the possible values of y. All right, so in this example, these are, when I say reasonable, I'm talking about given a situation, does it make sense that the x values go on forever? Sometimes, depending on what you're talking about, that doesn't make sense. For example, if we look at this example, it says Hector's service club is raising money by wrapping presents in the mall. That function, f of x equals 3 of x, or 3 times x, describes the amount of money in dollars that the club will earn for wrapping x presents. They only have enough wrapping paper to wrap 1,000 presents. What is an appropriate domain? That means I'm looking for all of the x values. Well, right away, I'm talking about x's. The moment I see the word domain, I'm talking about x's. All right. So I'm looking for a reasonable and appropriate domain. Okay. So I'm looking for a low end and a high end. All right. Let's see here. Now, if the whole function is 3x and x represents the number of presents, all right. That's how many that function tells you how much money. X is the number of presents. X can go into this thing in a certain amount of times, right? It can go as far or as low as 0. So you can have 0. That's the smallest amount of presents, right? It's X presents. You can have 0 presents, or I can have up to how many? 1,000. Now, the question is, do you include them or not? Is it possible for you to actually have 0 presents? The answer is yes. Is it possible for you to have 1,000 presents? The answer is yes. So this would be the domain that describes this. It's not unrealistic any more so than what the question is. And so there we go. It's really an application problem for the domain and range. Number 2 is the same problem, but we're using or trying to find function, what is the appropriate range? So because I'm using range, I'm immediately doing this because I know my value will be between something and something else. Could be infinities, but it's still between two things. Range is the output, and the output, this represents the amount they will earn. So this represents, the range represents money. All right, now you get 3 times x, x being the number of presents being wrapped. So what's the smallest amount of money you can earn? The appropriate range, what's the smallest amount? Well, what if you did 0? You can't do negative presents. What if you did 0 presents? Wouldn't your income be 0? Excellent. Now, what's the highest you can actually make? Well, if you only have enough to wrap 1,000 presents, and the way you get paid is by 3 times the number, well, 3 times x is 3 times 1,000, which is 3,000. And remember, y is the money, and so we're talking about $3,000 as on the high end. Now, is it possible? I got to see whether or not I should include them. Is it possible to get $0? Yeah, if you don't wrap any presents. What about, is it possible to get $3,000? Yeah, if you wrapped 1,000 presents. So our range is all of our y's between 0 and 3,000 and included. So let me look for that. Looks like this is the one right here. All right, those are 2 examples of it. I'm probably going to run out of time here. Let's see if we can make that bigger so you can see that. That's a good one. Before a bowler rolls her first ball, 10 pins are standing. The number of pins that will be left standing, y, is a function of the number of pins she knocked down. What is the range? So what is the possible number? There are 10 pins. What's the possible number of output? Y is how many pins will be left standing. Is it possible for 10 to be left after she rolls? Yeah, by getting a gutter ball. Can she get 9? Yes. 8? Yes. All the way down. What if there are none standing? That's possible. That's called a strike. So if I were looking to answer this problem, I would say that the range, the output, the number of pins left standing could be anywhere from 0 to 10. That's what this tells us right here. Now, if you say less than 10, less than or equal to 10, that might include 7.5. But we can't do that because we're talking about the number of pins.